Hello to everyone watching this. So this video is going to be about relationships and contact fields. Had a client that contacted us from our YouTube videos. They went to consult.vocalogical.com, requested their free 30-minute consultation with us, and they really had two questions. One was about Wufoo Forms integration into Podio, which there's a link in the description below to that video. And then they also had questions about just what are relationship fields within Podio and what's the best practices to use them. So we're going to talk about that today. It's going to be very basic, and I did also want to bring on top of that contact fields because I feel like they kind of relate and they're very similar. But let's talk about it. So relationship fields enable you to link to another app or another item. And there's two really big purposes that I use for that. The first one really is just linking. So in this example here, I have my CRM app, and then I have a project management app. So notably, when you complete a CRM and you convert them to a client, they then go into a project management application where you manage the project. So when I click on anything in my project management app, the item will list a relationship field to the CRM app. Let's take a look at that. So here we go. There's a CRM item, and then it's listing to the CRM in the CRM and project management. So I can click on that, and I can get some information. So if I wanted to look at, say, for example, the activities thread, the comments about the CRM item, that's all listed right there. So let's talk about how you set that up. There's one trick when you're setting up your relationship fields, is that you need to make sure they link to the right place. So when you drag in a relationship item into Podio, you then have to come and click on the drop down, and then you do choose an app. And then in choose an app, you're going to search for the app that you want the items to show within the relationship. Now, usually for most of my relationships, I use Globiflow to push that, and I'm going to show you how I do that. But the other instance that I'm talking about where you can use choose an app to reference is actually creating an item from a reference field, and that's also important where this is referencing to. So eventually I'm going to do a tutorial about my support board that I built out within Podio. But let's jump in and take a look at it. So this support board enables me to have many aspects of Juicebox come into one place, so I can support the entire business all from within Podio, and I don't have to use any external areas. And I use email to app like crazy. So all of these apps up here are email to app from different areas. So what I'm able to do is, let's say for example, directory support. Let's see if I have anything in here. I don't, but okay, usually an email to app would come in. Let's go to one of my old ones. So this is just a silly email I unsubscribed from, but if it was important, what I would then do is use this relationship field called issue, and I do type to search for items, and what I would do is at the very bottom of this is create new item. So this enables me to create an item in another app from an item. And in this case, what I'm doing is I get an issue in, or a ticket in, from a directory, and then I'm going to go ahead and say that's a problem. I'm going to convert that into an issue, and an issue is where I'm going to track its progress, its severity, who's it related to, and etc. and etc. and etc. And the great thing about this is it lists it automatically as a related item. So when I go into my Issues app, I have the ability to see where this all came from. Did it come from a Google alert? Did it come from a directory alert? From a directory support? I'm able to quickly see where those issues were created from. So let's jump back to the CRM though, and kind of talk some more about that. More workspaces. All right. So that's the two uses for relationship fields. Is the first would be referencing back to an item in a progression. So if it went from your CRM and then it went to your project management, and in the same scenario you can also do that with contact management, which is a whole nother tutorial that I need to create, where we talk about what's the different ways to set up contacts with relationship fields within inside of Podio. It can have its advantages where you just have a workspace and an app for your contacts, and then everything just relates back to that. Or some people like to use the Workspace Contacts, which we're going to talk about that right now. So that's relationships. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Shoot me an email, or go to consult.focalogical.com and let me know what questions you have there. But let's now talk about contact fields. There's two types of contact fields within inside of Podio. In the same way that you set up a contact field, you set up a relationship field, there's a drop down to the contact field field. And if you click on that, you have the options to do contact types and sharing. So it's either going to be workspace members and share this item with other contacts' email addresses added to this field. So that's Podio has a share an item ability. So if you add somebody into that that's not in your workspace, you're going to share that item to them, or workspace contacts. So let me show you what those do. So this top one here is a workspace contact, and I don't have any contacts, so I'm going to do an add new item. The cool thing about this is it's just a simple V card. So you have the ability to add a name, job title, organization, phone, email, more fields, add a photo. It just gives you a great area to put in a lot of information about that contact, so that if I'm in this project and I have a question, I can just click on this client card and see how to reach them. The internal ones, or which are internal members, give me the ability to assign people to these projects. So I have the ability to click them as an assigned member. And where this is really cool is within Globiflow. So within Globiflow, let me refresh my workspace here. Alright, so I refreshed that app, so now I have my CRM and my project management. So what I can do is I can say in my CRM, I'm going to do add new, I'm going to do a new flow. So when an item is updated, move to project management. Alright, so I'm going to say when a field is changed, this is a very important part of Globiflow. If you don't have this selected, the flow will always run if anything changes in the entire app. So you want to say when the item is changed, and then when this field is changed, and then when this field matches this, then run. So it's a very important part, but what I'm going to say, when an item is updated within the CRM, and then when the field category has changed, and then when the field category equals client, I'm going to go ahead and do create an item. So the item that I'm going to create is going to be in Focalogical. And that is Focalogical Project Management. And then I have the ability to do add fields. So I can go in and I can say the project name is equal to the CRM name, and I can say that the status will then be new. Here's the cool thing though when it relates to contact fields. I then have the ability to say that the assigned member is going to be this person. And where you can really make this play, so let's say you have a big team. So you can always move an item into project management, mark it as new in the status, assign the member to your project manager, and then when an item is created, you can have another flow within Globiflow that says create this task, assign it to the person that is in the assigned member field, and put in all these details about the project, and basically then tell them to go in and set all the people. So you can then have other contact fields for like the copywriter, the marketer, the approver, the graphic designer. And then you can use Globiflow with more tasks to go in and say, alright, I'm going to assign tasks when the status is graphic design needed, and I'm going to assign that task to the person that's in the graphic design contact field. This is really where Podio and Globiflow can really be very powerful and automate just a lot of processes within your Podio for you. So keep that in mind. That's something that I'm going to continue doing a lot more tutorials about Globiflow and how to use it, but I just wanted to give you a quick idea of how to use the contact field. So let's kind of review the different contact fields. There's three. There's internal ones where I typically use them as assigned members, and then there's also an internal field where if you add in an email address and they're not a member, you'll be sharing that item out to them. And then there's Workspace Contacts, where it's vCard, so you have the ability to plug in a lot of details about that client into one place. Instead of having to make 16 fields within your item, it's all kind of condensed into one area. So hopefully this helped you out in terms of relationships and contacts within Podio. There'll be a lot more tutorials to come, so please subscribe to the channel. And again, this came from somebody that requested a free consultation with me, so if you'd like to do that as well, go to consult.focalogical.com. I'm happy to help you out with whatever you need. Thanks. That is it for this tutorial. As always, we like your feedback, so please go to feedback.focalogical.com. Let us know what you thought. We do, of course, do a free 30-minute consultation for anybody that has Podio questions and just kind of wants to work through anything. You don't have to become a client with us or anything like that. We just love helping you out and meeting you and hearing how you're using Podio or want to use Podio. So to sign up for that, go to consult.focalogical.com and fill out that Podio web form right there. And if you have any Podio video tutorials that you'd like to see on YouTube, let us know what those are at videos.focalogical.com. And finally, we are building some Podio solutions that are kind of pre-made. Podio, Globiflow, and other automations already kind of built into one package that we would just install up for you and provide support for just a fixed fee price. So if you're interested in those, go to podiosolution.focalogical.com. Have a good one.